Hey folks, it's Brian. We got to play Elderath last night, which is turning more and more into BRP. I have an issue with that, but it just makes things interesting because some of the rule things are different. Okay, anyway, so we had killed and let run loose a bunch of orcs from one side. So we're going down the hallway to the other side. We ran into this mess hall, right, with a bunch of orcs. So everyone rushes to engage. Wes casts a sleep 10 because there's 10 of them in there. First time he actually fumbled, right? Or was that later? Well, on his second attempt, I got 7 of them down, which was fantastic for that spell. Orc number 7 fled. Orc number 2 and number 5. Number 2 was hit in the leg earlier, so he's down on his knees. Number 5, after some further fighting, gets knocked down to his knee. Then, they're killed, and we dispatch all the rest. Amongst them, some coins, all of which are of the Forg mint, which means they're ancient coins. Okay, so we go back down to the hallway there because there's a hallway went north that we bypassed. And we go up. There's a door there. Runt doesn't detect anything. He listens. He says he hears breathing. So Hjalmar goes to rush in and oops, it's locked. It's been barred on their side. Actually, a lock kind of thing, right? So Hjalmar and Raymond bash the door down. And Hjalmar and Runt move in. There are 3 orcs there, and they all attack. One is in full chain. One is in partial plate, and he throws an axe. And there's another one that's dressed in this mixed mash of armor and stuff, which equals 5 points. So melee ensues. Wes did get a success on his hold kind on the orc and the partial plate. However, the way people are aligned, well, I guess he could have attacked Hjalmar. Hjalmar's up front, so number 2 and number 3 are attacking him, and number 1, the guy in partial plate, is kind of a diagonal, so he could have attacked as well. Raymond moves up, so lots of attacking going on, but guy in chains, they just can't seem to get through that armor. And obviously he's pairing the shield a lot too. And then both of them are attacking Hjalmar, so Hjalmar is slowly getting beat down. And Hjalmar got nailed hard once, and his chest went to 0. So he falls to the ground, coughing up blood, that sort of thing. And the orc with the partial plate is reaching down to grab him, to drag him into the room. At the same time, Raymond reaches down and heals Hjalmar, bringing him back into action. So there's this. And then also orc number 3 was going to move forward to take, step over Hjalmar. So all 3 of these things are 4. 1, 2, 3. All 4 things happen kind of at once. Essentially, we come to a stalemate where things are back the way they were before everything happened. So Wes drops his hold kind and casts Stun Cloud. 5-foot radius. He's able to get all 3 of the orcs in it. Technically, Hjalmar should be out of it. But he fumbled that roll. That's right. So he was stunned for a round. The orcs. Oops, sorry. Got to hit myself again. So we did the Stun Cloud. And then, the takes a round for the cloud to form, right? So while it's forming, everyone knows there's something going on. So all these orcs, jump out, get out of the range of the cloud. And that's when Wes attempts a second hold kind, this time on the one in the chain, because if he could do a hold kind on him and keep him in place, then he would still be inside the cloud, so he would take damage, even though the other two had jumped out of the way. But he fumbled that roll and is stunned for a round. There we go. Okay, so all of the orcs do move out of the cloud. Raymond and Hjalmar follow up to engage because they step back far enough for people to come through on the cloud deal. Runt attempts an aim shot with his thrown dagger, but he fumbles that. Does a d6 damage to his dagger. Shatters against the wall. But then he starts doing his quick draw thing. So he quick draws and got a special. And he quick draws again and got another special. So these specials are actually getting, and they're both in the abdomen, by the way. So they're both doing, a point or two here, but that's some damage to him, right? At this point, Wes casts Sleep 5. There's only 3 of them. But 2 of them go down. I then cast Hold Kind on the last one, but the same round, Raymond kills him with a special, with a slash to the abdomen. Okay, so this is a double chamber room. There's the room we're in. We came in from the hallway. Then there's a little hallway joining, connecting to another room. This other room's got a bunch of storage stuff, right? It's got boxes, sacks, crates, barrels, all that kind of stuff. Orcish supplies, right? We do notice that the sword that the partial plate orc has a gem in the pommel. He also has a belt with a silver clasp. Orc number 3 had an ivory bracelet. In amongst her stuff is a copper bowl inlaid with silver. And Wes found a coil of rope that was unusual. It's all like silky. And of course, there's some copper and silver and even some gold coins. So at this point, we decide, because we have burned a lot of magic points, decide to go back to camp, to rest and recuperate. So while we're doing recuperation, get our magic points back, I'm thinking the pseudo dragon has magic points. She should be able to, refill these magic point storage items as well. I've got the star quartz crystal and the fire wand. And so Wes is holding on to the star quartz crystal, right? And he's picturing his mind, putting magic points into it, and he's holding it out for the pseudo dragon to see, if she would do that. She's greedy, and it appears that she wants to just steal it, right? So I'm holding on to it. It's on chain and that kind of thing anyway, right? But as she reaches forward to touch it, I get a vision, and in retrospect, we both had this vision, right? We see a figure in a darkened alleyway. It's all fuzzy, kind of tunnelish, and there's some movement beyond, right? I get the impression there's a person walking by that has a purse that looks really heavy. That person turns towards me and has red, reflective eyes. And I hear a thought. It's panicky at first. It's, "Witch, you found it again." And there's a pause. And then a puzzled lack of recognition and questioning. "Who are you?" And then the vision fades. At that point, Emerald is hiding in my hood. She is frightened. She's not going to do anything. She refuses to touch it again, and she's very disturbed about this whole thing. It's obviously evil, and we should very dangerous and get rid of it. Okay, concur. However, we can't just get rid of it, right? He's got to get rid of it properly, so we'll use it until then anyway. Okay, so we spend the night, and we do some of this magic point, or it's called power meditation, where you can use meditative things to regenerate magic points more quickly than normal. Which in RQIII is just regular meditation, but we've got this special one here. Because also in Bruce's game, you only regenerate magic points when you are in fact resting. So overnight, 8 hours, that's a third of a day. You only get a third of what you would have recovered. And I'm down to 12 magic, a power of 12 now, so I only get 1 every 2 hours. So I only got 4 back that night. But doing this power meditation, I got 2 extra ones. Probably should have got a third just for the time spent in the evening. Because I'm tracking magic points because I'm getting down low. I pumped 10 of my own into the crystal, so I've got the storage somewhat filled up. And I regenerated my own, but I'm not full up either. Okay, so we head over to Cavern G, which is at the apex of the cave, the vale, if you will, the valley, right? Excuse me, my goodness, throat's all sticky. Inside there are bones strewn all about. Hjalmar decides to lead the way. This is a natural cave. Lots of splits and turns. Everything's craggy. Bones everywhere. They've always been stepped on because some of them are broken. It kind of splits going north and southish, so we head southish. Eventually we get to a point where Hjalmar and Raymond both hear a large set of lungs breathing heavily. So Runt hands off his torch and then he sneaks further south where the sound's coming from to investigate. He disappears around a corner. The deep breathing continues. He comes back. Oh my goodness. He comes back and describes this huge beast furry thing that had feathers on it and stuff. So Wes asks, did it have actual wings? Thinking it might be a griffin. I said, no. It was all feathery on top. It had a beak. Okay, so we kind of figure it's an owlbear. And there's some discussion about the whole previous encounter we had with an owlbear. Now, owlbears in this world are like cave bear owl bears, right? Extremely big and dangerous, not just 3-hit die creatures. Which reminds me, though, that there is no live play. For some reason, I'm on my backup laptop because the one that I got broke. I found there was actually a protection plan on the covered accident, so it's getting repaired. While that's going on, I'm using my backup, which has minimal stuff on it. So I downloaded the screen capture software that I use, NCH, debut. For some reason, it was only capturing my voice. I went through a handful of different settings trying to adjust it and fix it, but I could never get anyone else's voice to register. So I looked really quick online for free screen capture, and I picked up this Mojave thing, and I let it run, and it seemed to be working. It recorded all the video, but none of the audio. And there's even a little icon for your mic to click it or unclick it, so it's either muted or open. And so I don't know how with that. But anyway, I've got the video, but there's no audio, so it's kind of useless. Okay, owlbear. So we start going back north, away from it, looking around. We go through all these little caverns and stuff. We come to a little dead-end area. We do some searching. We find a few coins. All the way to the north, though, there's an actual pool. And there's some fish in there. And so Wes has the flashlight spell, right? Projected light or whatever it is, right? And so he's, flashing all around. And while he's doing that, we're checking things out. Ren notices something slimy on the ground. It's slipping to the pool. So he does a quick draw on his dagger at it, sticks into the ground, and it just kind of oozes on around it into the pool. There are also some other slimy things around. And Raymond casts a spell that allows him to detect emotions. And so there's a discussion about his hunger and emotion. It's a feeling, that kind of stuff. But these things, they're hungry. So Raymond looks around and finds a bone that has not been picked clean yet, and throws it in the pool and splashes it down. It slowly moves towards the center, and then the meat on the bone disappears. So Hjalmar, at that point, grabs his spear, uses the butt end, has Wes flash the light down there, and it's kind of poking at it to see what happens. Well, the end of the spear starts to dissolve, and then this gooey thing starts climbing up the shaft at him. So he throws the whole spear in there. Oh, and then we depart and head over to Cavern H. A bunch of combat, some spells going off. Good session. Had some really freaky magic stuff happening with this vision stuff, but it is what it is. Happy gaming.